Good morning and welcome to Sports Shorts Daily on a Wednesday. I'm Tommy Christ-Sand. Glad to be here. Glad to have you there as we get ready to talk some LSU baseball. Ron Rantz away from the microphone and the camera today. And we are going to be joined by the legendary sportscaster Lynn Rollins, who's received a Distinguished Service Award as a sportscaster from the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Lynn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Tommy. It's a pleasure for me to be with you. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Well, it's great to have you. And you announced all four LSU games with Ben McDonald this past weekend. I watched all four. Okay, it was a little too chilly for me to go to the box. Okay, but I watched it. I could have sat in the press box, or I could have sat with you and Ben. But I learned something that I didn't know. I've been making a big mistake for a couple of years now. As I was watching you and Ben, I always thought that NIL stood for name, image, and likeness. But I learned that it now stands for Not Interested Lynn.
Yes.
What's going on with that?
Everybody else is pursuing NIL, right? So I'm thinking a poor elderly broadcaster should be, an ideal candidate for some of that. But in my early research, the door slams and I hear Not Interested Lynn. So I'm still working on it. I'm trying to spread. Anybody has any ideas, I'm certainly open for it. I think maybe a pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye T-shirt would be in order.
Yeah, well, you got Ben McDonald as an agent, and if Ben can't get it done, then I'll jump in and try to get something going. What do you think?
Very good. Yeah. But he's off to spring training with the Orioles now, so I don't know how much attention he's going to pay to my NIL deal.
There you go. All right, Lynn, let's talk some LSU baseball. The Tigers played 4 games, and they won 4 games. But there's a lot of different things we can look at.
Right.
I think Jay Johnson got a lot of questions answered about his team and about individuals. Not that he'll share that with us, but in his mind, he's still got more questions going forward. But let's first talk about the pitching that you observed in the 4 games, your observations of the pitching staff in a small snapshot, 4 games.
Right. It is a small snapshot. And I think overall there's a lot to like and a lot to develop and a lot of potential there. And nothing that I saw would counter that idea at the moment. If you want to look at it just from a number standpoint, certainly the most concerning thing to me and everybody else really is 27 walks in 4 games. That's way, way, way too much. LSU walked a fair number of batters last year. It was kind of in the middle of the pack in the SEC, but that's very, very excessive. That's, most of those came from 1 or 2 guys. So in their debuts. So, I think that will improve a lot, but it has to for sure. But, Cade Anderson, the newcomer, showed some potential. I really think that with this deep staff, Fidel Ulloa was really, really good. That's a name nobody knew. It's a guy nobody knew. Transfer from junior college, has mid-90s heat and a really, really tight breaking pitch, an excellent slider. He came on and got a save in a pressure situation. And that's obviously the back half of the bullpen, I think, Tommy, is the place where the pieces are still floating around in the air a little bit. And certainly nothing will be determined there for the next couple of weeks. But he was very, very impressive. Justin Lohr, Gage Jump is a guy that I think people are really going to like. And his role, even though he pitched only an inning, if his role is going to be very, very significant, I think, in the short term.
Yeah, and again, a lot of questions got answered for Jay Johnson and his staff, but there's more to come, as you said, in the coming weeks. Now, Lynn, let's talk about it from a hitting perspective. I know that 27 runs, 27 hits in one game, that's going to happen once or twice a year when you have a team as good as LSU and the floodgates just open and the other pitcher just had to wear it for a little bit. But talk about LSU offensively from a hitting point.
Well, first off, if you think about it, just for the statistics and record aficionados, that was done in 7 innings. So if they'd have batted a couple of more times, or at least one more time in the 8th, who knows what that record might have been? But they set a record with 20 singles in a game. That's never happened before in an LSU game in history, going back 100 years and more. And tied the record with 27 hits, 2 runs short of a record that came in a regional, by the way, back in the 90s. So, yeah, all of that is impressive, but we have to keep in mind that, Tommy, the opposition was substandard compared to what LSU is going to see in the very near future. So you have to keep that in mind. But the most impressive guy to me at the plate, the newcomer, Stephen Milam, and he's gotten everybody's attention. He looks like a little Altuve from the Astros, plays second base, looks like he belongs, looked very, very, very solid. And he, looking at some numbers here, he didn't start the first game. He started the last 3 and had 6 base hits and 11 at bats and just looked very comfortable.
Well, one thing about him, and this is a lesson for all guys out there that play travel ball, play high school ball, when you get your chance in the lineup, as Milam did on day 2, in the game 2, make it where the coach can't take you out. And that's exactly what Milam did. Jay Johnson couldn't pull him out because he was doing what he performed. When his name got called, he answered it. He answered the bell, and he did a super job. And he's proof that you don't have to be the biggest guy in the room to play the great game of baseball.
Well, he hit well over 600 last year in the state of New Mexico in high school. And we saw his size. He's maybe 5'8", maybe. But can fit a lot of positions in the lineup, in my opinion. I mean, despite his lack of being a giant, he led the state of New Mexico in hitting percentage last year in the power numbers. So, his numbers were tremendous. His slugging percentage actually was the best in the state of New Mexico. And remember, there was a pretty good one from New Mexico a few years ago in Alex Bregman. But I'm impressed by him. Jake Brown, I think, got off to a really good start, highly sought after, will play some outfield positions. He started 3 games. He had 6 base hits. And how about Hayden Travinski? The guy, the first couple of years was a project. The last 2 years, last year, he was magnificent. LSU would not have won the College World Series without his contribution the last month of play. And Tommy, he looks even more comfortable this year. I think, he may bat 4th, he may bat 3rd, but he's going to be in a position to protect Tommy White most of the time. I like Hayden Travinski. I like his work ethic. I like what he has done.
Travinski's been impressive. And like you said, he was a project. It's almost, to make an analogy, it's almost like that quarterback when the game finally slows down a little bit.
Right.
The quarterback can read his progressions and he becomes more effective. Well, I think Travinski has had the game slow down, to use an analogy. And now, he's got confidence. And confidence is the most dangerous thing in sports. And he's got that confidence. His teammates are all about him. He's a great teammate. And you're right. Without his contributions, they don't win the title in Omaha last year. And Jay Johnson's got to be looking for big things out of Travinski this season.
Yeah, and there's a reason he's wearing the number 8. His perseverance, his work ethic. He has improved defensively, maybe as much as he's improved offensively. He was average at best the first couple of years defensively. A lot of pass balls, had trouble throwing people out. He looks rock solid behind the plate now. And all 3 catchers, Neal and Milazzo and Travinski, just showed tremendous throwing ability and gunning down base runners in the first 4 games. All of them were very, very, very good defensively.
Yeah, and especially a VMI team that stole 180-something bases last year. 100 more than LSU. I heard you guys say that during the broadcast. So, and that's probably why Milazzo started that first game, to make sure, try to slow that run game down a little bit. But, so I think in 4 games, there's a lot of talent on this LSU baseball team. They're not going to go 56-0. We know that. Okay, they're going to lose along the way. Not a whole lot, but they're going to lose. But there's a lot of talent. I think LSU fans should be really excited about this upcoming season.
Well, I want to salute LSU fans. As you know, a couple of the days were brutal in terms of weather. The coldest I've ever been doing a sporting event in many, many decades is at a baseball game, in February, and it was rough. for a couple of days, and those fans still turned out. So I salute them. Now we're going to see, this weekend some similar type opponents, and then it gets tougher in a hurry. But the thing that I don't think is going to develop like it did last year, Tommy, and that's the potential for home runs up and down the lineup. I mean, when you look at the people who played every day last year, who went on either through graduation or through Major League Baseball draft, there are 87 home runs in that group that's gone. Right now, I don't see 87 home runs in this present group. So I don't think we're going to be puckering up and kissing that baby goodbye quite as much. We'll see how that plays out. Travinski is certainly capable. Obviously, Tommy White is capable. People don't maybe remember, it wasn't until the 10th game of the year last year that Tommy White hit his first home run. So close to 20% of the season had gone by, and then he winds up with 24 and those huge power numbers and the big average as well. But I think that's going to be the main difference statistically when you look at this team. Perhaps not as many. Well, I think for sure not as many home runs as last year.
Len, let's talk about Jay Johnson. He's rolling into his third season at LSU. A lot of success at Arizona, his previous stop, and success before that. But he did take Arizona to home twice. And then he goes in his second year and he wins a title. And Jay Johnson, I don't know if anybody can outwork this guy. I mean, he's 24/7 trying to make the LSU program a better program. And so far successful. Your take, and you've been around a long time. We both have been around a long time. Your take on Jay Johnson, the person, Jay Johnson, the coach.
He's not the easiest guy to get to know. It's just not his personality to be out there glad handing and promoting in a loud voice his program. But I absolutely agree with you. I have never been around a baseball coach who has the work ethic that he does in terms of what he feels is important. His average day, and I've asked him about this, his average night, he goes to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning, and he is watching film. He's breaking down. I mean, he approaches it like Nick Saban did in football. It is all business all the time. He is a relentless recruiter. I've talked to parents, and this is what really impressed me. I've talked to Tommy White's parents. I've talked to some others, and they said when Jay Johnson went into their homes to make the pitch for LSU, he comes with PowerPoints, he comes with video demonstrations, he comes with a book on, he's done his scouting on that player and how he feels that player can help LSU. And it's like a review of his talents, what he's doing well, what he needs to improve on, how they can improve. I mean, it is extremely organized, extremely formal. It's like a boardroom presentation of a Dow 30 member. It's that thorough, and the parents have said they've never seen anything like that. Nobody's ever come in and explained, okay, here's where he is, here's where we think we can take him, here are the opportunities, and of course now there's NIL money to work with. But I think he's relentless.
Yeah, no, I've gotten to know him a good bit, and it's no joke that his two favorite coaches are Nick Saban and Skip Bertman. That's two pretty good ones to model yourself after and to follow the things they've done, because the success by Coach Saban, the success by Coach Bertman speaks for itself. We don't have to rip through that list. So, Jay Johnson, I think, is here for the long haul. He's had some staff turnover, and that happens with great coaches. You end up with staff turnover, but he keeps bringing in quality guys. He's got a very good staff that brings a ton of experience, and that helps in the whole picture.
Yeah, it does. Nate Yeskie is an interesting guy to talk to, the pitching coach, and he's had unbelievable success everywhere he's been. I mean, his postseason and College World Series championships, wherever he has been, it's more than coincidence. We'll see how that works out. I've gotten to know him a little bit. He's very, very even-keeled, but again, very studious. He's kind of a Jay Johnson clone, if you will, but very much cutting edge. And of course, LSU's got the technology and the equipment and the lab for pitching that makes that possible. So I think he's going to be a good addition. I know the players like him because he approaches each one individually. It's not a cookie cutter approach where, this is what you need to do. He looks at everybody individually and develops within their own framework. So we'll see how that works out. Obviously, he's not happy with the number of walks. Again, most of those coming from one or two guys, and that's going to straighten out. But yeah, I agree with you. I think this staff is a perfect support mechanism, perfect support platform for Jay Johnson.
Lynn, as we wrap this up, 4 games coming up starting tomorrow, 2:00 Thursday, 2:00 Friday, 1:00 Saturday and Sunday. You'll be on the call. Northern Illinois, Thursday and Saturday. Stony Brook. Folks, Tiger fans remember that story from a few years ago. This same coach is at Stony Brook. He's been there over 30 years. So that same coach is coming back. He won't have the same team that won the Super Regional in Baton Rouge, but they'll be in town for Friday and Sunday. So Northern Illinois, Stony Brook, it's going to be another chance for LSU to improve, clean up the walks, and give guys a chance to play. I think a lot of guys will get off the bench in this 4-game homestand.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. It'll be the second version of what we saw on the opening weekend. And here's some great news. Based on the long-term forecast I've seen, the weather should be splendid, unbelievable. Highs in the mid-70s, lots of sunshine, and a perfect weekend right now, unfolding weather-wise.
Well, and if I get out to the box, I'm going to pop my head in the booth and tell you hello.
Please.
Lynn,
we'll have a cold hot dog waiting for you.
There you go. Lynn, I appreciate you pinch hitting for Ronnie Rance today. It's been fun. It's always great to visit with you. And keep up the great work. And we look forward to talking to you again.
I really appreciate the opportunity. And anytime, I would love to get back with you.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate it. All right. That's Lynn Rollins, pinch hitting for Ronnie Rance. Don't forget Tremonti's Meat and Seafood here on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Lasagna for lunch today. Catering, small job, big job, it doesn't matter. All the wine and liquor you need, the Chairman's Reserve meats, the seafood, you got it all at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. You need to stop by on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, right down the block from Parkview Baptist Church and School. Come check out Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Don't forget, Sports Shorts Radio this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We'll be in the sports book at the LaBear's Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. We want you to join us for that. All right, we're gonna check on out of here. We appreciate you watching. As we always say, like and share this show. That's important. It helps Tremonti's, it helps LaBear's Casino and Hotel, helps all of the partners and sponsorships of Sports Shorts Daily. We've been doing this a long time. We appreciate everybody that watches regularly. Watch when you can. Watch it at night. You just go to the YouTube channel or Facebook. Watch it at your convenience. We appreciate that very much. On behalf of Lynn Rollins, who pinch hit for Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ saying, have a good day, everyone. We're back Friday morning, 9:30.